These are good. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bianca. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of fiber. Because if you aren't eating enough fiber, your body is not going to operate optimally. And the reason being is that fiber plays so many important roles in our body as far as balancing our glucose, as far as managing inflammation, as far as removing any excesses in our system. So if we aren't getting enough fiber, we are not giving our body the building blocks that it needs in order to have effortless blood sugar balance, be really low in inflammation, and just feel good and have everything move the way it needs to move. But first, let's talk about glucose and blood sugar. I love talking about blood sugar. It's one of the things that I think about every time I open my mouth to put food in it, and not in a, distorted way, but in a way that I know that if I eat my food a certain way, that if I balance my meals a certain way, that my blood sugar will stay balanced and therefore I'll have less inflammation. I won't have spikes and dips. My skin will be clear, like the whole nine. And the reason that fiber is so important for glucose balance is because when we eat things with fiber, and I'm talking mostly about like vegetable fibers in this instance, what it does is it coats the lining of our stomach, of our digestive tract, and it makes it so that food and glucose and everything releases slower into our bloodstream. And this is a good thing because that means that we aren't going to get aggressive spikes and then dips in our blood sugar as a result of eating the foods that we eat. So whenever I talk to someone, whether they become a client or whether they're just like asking me for a little tidbit advice, I always say to them, if your glucose is struggling, if you have insulin resistant PCOS, if you have prediabetes, if you have insulin resistance, if you have reactive hypoglycemia, anything that has to do with your blood sugar, I always suggest that you have vegetables at the top of every single meal, even breakfast. So they can be any vegetables. And I used to say have a salad before your meals, but people get that confused and be like, salad? All I mean is vegetables. So whether they are steamed, air fried, roasted, sauteed in a pan, whether you eat them raw, eating those delicious vegetable fibers are going to act as a barrier to a spike in glucose because simply it's lining the lining of your digestive tract. When you're thinking of these vegetables, you want to make sure that you have a diverse selection of these vegetables because that means you're going to be getting different types of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals. I tend to favor when it's like breakfast time, I usually have raw cucumbers or raw carrot because a raw carrot a day keeps the hormone imbalance away. Check out the raw carrot salad video if you want any more information about that. But I like to keep it really easy because the morning can sometimes be frazzled. Every single meal that I consume, especially if there's a high carb count, I have vegetables before because it serves as two purposes. I'm getting fiber, but I'm also getting vitamins, nutrients. I'm getting all these other things that are not just good for my blood sugar, but good for my skin and good for my body overall. So when it comes to blood sugar balance and keeping it in equilibrium in that way, you really want to make sure that you are eating a lot of vegetables and they are being consumed before anything else at a meal. When we talk about fiber, and when I talk about fiber with you especially, when I'm saying that it's good for our skin, here's why I'm saying that. When we have a glucose spike and dip, what happens is it sends off a spiral of cortisol, insulin, then our sex hormones. And when all of those are out of balance, a result of that is our skin will freak out. We'll get cluster breakouts. We might get cystic acne. We might get a bunch of different things. Our hormones will just be in flux and it makes having good skin a challenge. And when you eat a lot of fiber, and I'm not talking necessarily about like Metamucil. I don't mind Metamucil if you are using it as a supplement to the diet you already have, or maybe you're going on vacation and you just want something easy. I'm cool with that. But on an everyday basis, something like Metamucil, yeah, you're getting fiber, but are you getting anything else? Are you getting vitamins? Are you getting nutrients? Are you getting carotenoids? Are you getting lycopene? Like, are you getting anything else? And the answer is no. While those can be great, on the interim when you're trying to get your body back to where it needs to be, often if we just rely on something like Metamucil, we're not maximizing our fiber and nutrient potential in our body. Now, when it comes to glucose spikes and dips, when we are having a lot of spikes and dips and like our blood sugar is like in the red all the time, our skin is naturally going to be in struggle. It just like, that's like a part of the deal, unfortunately. That being said, One of the ways that we get out any excesses of hormones or anything in our system is through our waist. That is how we move excess estrogen out, excess testosterone. If you have a high androgen count and you are dealing with PCOS and you have male pattern thinness in your hair, or maybe you're getting male pattern hair growth on your face, fiber is going to help move any of those excess estrogens or testosterones or anything out of your body. Again, you want to make sure that you are eating a diverse mix of fibery things. Vegetables are great and they are what you want to use, especially when we're talking about blood sugar balance. But there's other things to use as well. I love eating things like beans. I soak them, I drain them, I cook them in the Instant Pot. They're delicious, and those have a really high fiber content as well. Now, something about beans that I will mention is that if you are cooking your beans from dried, you want to add in a little bit of apple cider vinegar in that cooking process, simply because that's going to make those beans easier to digest. So if you're someone that gets bloated or you find that beans can be a little tough on you, I don't want you to stay away from them. I just want you to cook them differently. But one of the recipes that I have in the Glucose Glow Up community is a, crispy lima bean recipe. And it's great because it's flavorful. You're getting all of those boxes ticked off as far as I like the way this tastes, but you're also getting a ton of fiber that is going to help keep your body free of any of those excess hormones. Because once those are out, your body is going to have a much easier time keeping your skin clear because there isn't all these other hormones in there messing with the balance. And that's why fiber, again, is so important to our diet. I just want to mention that there is a movement right now about, carnivore diet. Do what works for you. But if you are dealing with high hormone counts, high androgen counts, and you are completely eliminating fiber and you're just eating fat and protein, which we need, and those are amazing building blocks, you will find that your skin might get worse. And the reason being is yes, you are giving your skin a ton of amino acids, you're giving yourself good healthy fats, but where's the fiber to move any of the excesses out? You can put good things in, but if you don't get rid of the stuff that needs to be moved out, you are still going to be operating on the back foot. And while I love high quality sources of meat, I love high quality sources of fat, we need vegetables and we need fiber in our diet. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Anything that feels extreme from a dietary perspective likely is. So I just wanted to put that in here because I know that the carnivore community, and I really hope that you don't come for me on this video, but if you do, I'm ready. But the carnivore community really, promotes vegetables are bad. Don't eat vegetables. Don't eat vegetables. But if that sounds, a little to you, it's probably a little in my opinion. Now, the last thing that fiber is really good for is inflammation. Because an inflammatory response generally comes from something that is imbalanced in our body. If we have high excess hormone counts in our body, inflammation is likely to be a result. If we are not moving out the waste in our body and it stays in and recycles and starts to create, toxins in our body, inflammation is going to be a result. If you have a lot of spikes and dips in your glucose, in your blood sugar throughout the day, the byproduct of that is inflammation. So fiber helps with inflammation it's not directly affecting it and benefiting it, but it's an indirect benefit, meaning that when you eat a lot of fiber, your glucose stays good, therefore no inflammation. When you eat a lot of fiber, your hormonal balance stays really good, which means less inflammation. Fiber is important in our bodies in so many ways. If you are not having a good, solid bowel movement, at least one a day, you need to be increasing your fiber intake. And something that also is very important about fiber intake is you also need to be increasing your water intake. If you are not hydrated and you put a lot of fiber in there, I promise you a painful experience, because when all of that fiber comes out, if it doesn't have a little moisture to mix in to make it easier on your digestive system, you're going to feel that. And I don't want you to feel that. I want you to feel good. When you are upping your fiber intake, you're eating more vegetables, you found really good sources of complex carbohydrates, you are, you're hitting it hard with all of the fiber, I want to make sure that you're also hydrating as well. Because if you're not hydrating, you're just going to create a painful experience for yourself. And hydration comes in the form of water. You can eat a lot of water-based vegetables. So again, let's multiply this effort. If you are eating vegetables at the beginning of your meal, why not think of something like cucumber, carrots, zucchini, things that have a high water content will also help with your hydration levels. And then you're hitting, two birds with one stone, so that it just creates smooth passage for for you. Because when you are starting new habits, if they hurt, if they're painful, you're just like less likely to stay committed to them. And when it comes to fiber, it can be a painful process. I also recommend looking for fiber sources that are gentler. You know, when people want to up their fiber intake, you know, they look to vegetables, and I've been talking a lot about vegetables and I love them. But things like kale, you know, cauliflower, broccoli, those can be really hard because they're rough. They're called roughage. And so starting light, apples have something called pectin, and pectin is a nice form of water-soluble fiber. So it gets nice and jelly, and it sort of like brooms the inside of the digestive system nicely, gets rid of the debris, it's gentle. Whereas something like kale is just gonna burrow through and just claim anything that, you know, is not stuck to the walls, essentially. While kale is great, if you are dealing with some backlogs in your digestive system, you might want to be a little more gentle with it. And when you have things like fiber, you also want to make sure that you're eating things like fermented food, because that's going to help your belly and your stomach break down those fibers and help them pass through your system better. So it's like a multi-pronged approach, but if you are finding that your skin is struggling, your hormones are struggling, no matter what you do, and you're not having like really good bowel movements every single day, it's time to look at your fiber, simply put. Now, again, I just want to mention that I'm taking one-on-one clients to help you put together a personalized custom program to help with your skin, to help with your blood sugar, to help with inflammation, because those are all things that I work with, and looking at it from a holistic perspective. There isn't one silver bullet that is going to clear your skin, that is going to resolve your blood sugar issues, or that's going to reduce your inflammation. But when you come up with a multi-pronged and a multifaceted protocol, that's when true healing can reign, especially when you do it from a holistic perspective in your body. What does your body need? And filling those gaps with lifestyle and nutritional habits that support it. So that's what I'm here for. I hope you liked this video. I also encourage you to join the skin class. If you are dealing with skin issues, I'll help you so much there. And if you're dealing with blood sugar stuff, join the Glucose Glow Up community, because there's literally workshops, recipes, live Q&As, everything that are literally just there to help you feel better, resolve your blood sugar issues, and shine like the diamond that you are. So I'll see you next time. Bye.